Hello, my dear friends, and welcome back. It's Patrick here. And today I was remembering the lectures that I've given in different languages, and I thought, like, holy crap, this deserves a video. Because honestly, I was very proud of this achievement, and I wanted to share with you like all the lectures that I have given in the past years, and also talk a little bit about them, and, like why I've decided to do what I did, and why I have decided to use those languages and no others, are not only English. Because if you look at this language events, I love them, to be honest, but most of the talks they are in English, and that makes sense because that's the kind of that's the common ground. So people are fully capable of understanding, and you don't exclude people when you do that. So if you select some very specific language, so of course your audience is going to be smaller. But let me share a few things here. The first time was in back in 2021, I guess. Yeah, 2021, and I had the first idea because there was the polyglot gathering online, and they said like, okay, the call for papers are open, and I was really into Slavic languages at the time. I think I was preparing for my first exam in Russian, and also studying Ukrainian, Polish, and Belarusian, I guess, like at the beginning of this journey. And I've decided to submit the talk called The Best Way to Learn Slavic Languages, or something like that. Yeah. It was in English, and I talked about Slavic languages. And at the end of the talk, I remember that I said, "So I'm here, so you can guys, you can give me some questions. I'm going to answer questions in Russian, Ukrainian, Polish, even Czech." I mentioned that was risky. It was risky at all because, you know, I can understand a lot of Czech, but like speaking it, that's challenging even nowadays. But yeah, that was the first topic, and people really liked that. I had people enjoyed a lot the talk. I got a lot of positive feedbacks on that, and I thought like, oh, that was good. And in the very same year, I was this one. That was not some idea of mine. I was invited to talk into, where was that? No, it was not the second. The second one was polyglotar. Polyglotar is a language event, but in Brazil. So I thought, like, come on, that would be very nice to give a speech, to give a lecture in my own country, in an event made by Brazilians. Yeah. And then the topic was kind of similar, but there I talked about the title was like Aprendizado simultâneo de línguas Eslavas, which means like simultaneous learning of Slavic languages. That was entirely in Portuguese, but during the talk I interact a little bit in Russian and Polish with some nice people there. And again, that was very nice. That was the moment. If I'm not mistaken, that was the moment that I've received the invitation to be part of Hypia, the Association of Hyper Polyglots. And well, that was very nice. That was a fantastic experience. I love being a member of Hypia. And then after that, we had 2022. So we had new adventures. First thing that happened was I was invited to speak at the Ukrainian conference number 3, I guess. Yeah, there was a conference about Ukrainian language in the University of Lancaster, in England, and I received this invitation. I was very happy, and wow, that was fantastic. And that lecture was not only mine; there were more people talking, and I used it there. A little bit of English, a little bit of Ukrainian. That was like a mixture. And after that, I thought, like, come on, I can do that in Ukrainian as well. Yeah. So in 2022, I gave a lecture in Ukrainian, entirely in Ukrainian. The title was як розмовляти українською без суржику. It was like how to speak Ukrainian without surjik. That's the kind of the mixture between Ukrainian and Russian. I was like, the result. Okay, I'll talk more about surjik in a future video. But yeah, so that was my talk, and that's funny because my Ukrainian was not on point there. I think I had an A2 at the moment, and I used a little bit of Russian words in the middle of the talk, but that was not the focus. There, the focus was like to incentivize all the Ukrainian native speakers that they were not so confident about switching from Russian to Ukrainian. And the intention of that talk was to show people, like, guys, look, I'm Brazilian, and I can do that even with mistakes, even if that's embarrassing sometimes because I don't know the correct words. But if I'm Brazilian and I can do that, you can do that as well. That was a fantastic talk. There were a lot of Ukrainians there. It was a very interesting experience. Next one was the lecture in Polish. Yeah. I've decided to give a lecture in Polish to challenge myself, because as you might imagine, Polish is not so simple as a language. But as I mentioned many times, that's my favorite language. And again, I talked about learning multiple languages at the same time, learning similar languages at the same time, talking about my experience learning Polish and Ukrainian. And even though I've got a lot of critiques because of this presentation, some people said, not people from that audience. Yeah, I'm going to divide that. Mainly during the investigation there, that there were you guys, I think we all know that I was investigated, and there was some Polish native speakers that they were, I don't know, personally offended by how broken my Polish is. You know, it happens. But during the presentation, I had a very good moment there. There were a lot of Polish speakers. At the polyglot gathering at the time, we had good interaction. So yeah, the lecture was good. Like, in general, the audience enjoyed that, and I'm really proud of that achievement. It's not easy as a Brazilian who self-taught Polish, and then you simply go there and you give a lecture in Polish, entirely in Polish, and maybe you don't know that, but it's quite challenging and intimidating to give a lecture. You know, it's like, it's live. You cannot prepare that. You just go there, you open the camera, and the event starts, and you have to talk, and the audience is watching you. You know? And that was in Polish, including the questions and everything. So yeah, I'm really proud about that. At the same year, when I say we, it's because it was me and my wife. We gave a lecture called El Arte de Crear Niños Multilingues, where we talked in Spanish about our kids and how we introduce new languages into their routine. That's a very beautiful, I think that's a very beautiful talk in Spanish. That's also a language that I really love. And then what else we had there? I think. Oh, of course. And the last one. No, two more actually. There was one more. Oh, that was nice. There was a talk called Navigating Macedonian, where I gave that speech with Andriana, my friend from Macedonia, and our official French teacher in Master Academy. We had a cross vision there, like the teacher and the student. So during that talk, we talked a little bit in Macedonian and most of it in English, but it was also a very nice experience for me. And the last one, there was like the last polyglot gathering online. There was two more talks from me. First, there was a lire le bras en 3 minutes. There was a crash course where I taught people how to read Hebrew in 30 minutes, but in French. And that was really nice for me, because first that was a good maneuver for linguistic diversity, because I did that in French, and I taught Hebrew to the audience. That was very nice. I hope they release this video soon. And the last one, there was another crash course, how to read the Cyrillic alphabet in 30 minutes. That was in English, teaching people how to read the Cyrillic alphabet. So it was similar. The idea was similar this year. That was like crash course number 1 and 2. The first one was in French, teaching people how to read Hebrew, and the second one was in English, teaching people how to read the Cyrillic alphabet. Yeah, and that's just part of the adventure. I will tell you why I had this idea. And back in 2022, I was really deep into Ukrainian, and I was crazy. I was fascinated about the idea of taking an exam in Ukrainian, and that's not possible. The exam that they have for Ukrainian language, at least in 2022, what they had was, there is an exam, but it's for residency permit. So you need to have the permit first, and you need to live there, or you need to have the permit first, and then you take this exam in order to be qualified to work in the Ukrainian market there. But they don't have the same structure of like exams for foreigners or something like that. And then I was thinking, like, come on, what can I do if I don't have the opportunity to take an exam? What can I do? And then I took an exam. Years 1 year later, I guess. I took, but it was not like official exam. It was from a Ukrainian school, and they gave me the B1 level. But at that time, I was thinking, like, what can I do in order to replace this exam that simply doesn't exist? So I had this idea. I was like, what if I give a talk? What if I give a lecture in Ukrainian? So I'm gonna have some kind of certificate that proves that I gave a talk in that language. Yeah? That's not the same thing as an exam, but that's something considerable. Yeah. So and I simply loved this experience, and I've never stopped there. So I hope this video is interesting for you. And there's one last thing. Probably I'm going to give more lectures this year, different languages, probably. Anyway, good luck in your language journey. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. See you guys very soon.